In today's lesson, we're going to look at how we can calculate powers and roots of numbers. Let's start off by looking at powers. A power tells you how many of a number you need to multiply together. A power is represented as the small number that appears at the end of a value. So in our first example, we have 11 with a little 2 at the end. That means that we need to multiply two 11s together. I know that the answer to this is 121. So I can say that 11 squared, or 11 to the power of 2, is equal to 121. Now, if you're struggling to calculate this, you can always use a column multiplication to help you get your answer. I'll demonstrate this for you now. As you can see, my answer is the same. In my second example, I'm asked to calculate 4 cubed, or 4 to the power of 3. The fact that there's a little 3 at the end this time means that I need 3 4s that are all being multiplied together. So that's 4 times 4 times 4. I can work this out in stages. I know that 4 times 4 to start off with gives me an answer of 16. So therefore I need to work out 16 times 4, which I know is 64. So 4 cubed, or 4 to the power of 3, is equal to 64. As with the previous question, if I'm unsure with getting that answer, I can always use a column multiplication to help me get there. I'll demonstrate this for you now. So we wanted to work out 16 times by 4. As you can see, I get the same answer. In my last example, I'm asked to calculate 2 to the power of 5. That means that there's 5 2's that are all getting multiplied together. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Again, I can do this in stages. I know that 2 times 2 is 4. I know that that 4 times another 2 would give me 8. 8 times 2 is 16. And lastly, 16 times 2 gives me 32. So my answer for 2 to the power of 5 is 32. So the first thing that I'd like you to do is download the following worksheet from Show My Homework. I want you to complete the left side of the sheet only, which is the square numbers, cube numbers and higher powers section. Please ignore the root section on the right hand side for now. Once you've done this, you can check your answers to the left hand side using a calculator or by comparing your answers against those that I've put on to Show My Homework for you. It's really important that this left hand side is done correctly because we're going to use those answers to help us do the root section in a second. In the second part of this lesson, we're going to have a look at roots of numbers. A root reverses a power calculation to tell you what the original value was. We can use the answers from the first part of this lesson to help us do this. First of all, it's important that we recognise our root symbol. It looks like this. It will go around the outside of the number that we're trying to root. If, like in our first example, there is no number on the outside, we can assume that it means the square root of a number. So in part A, I'm asked to square root the number 81. In other words, that means when I square a number, I get 81 as my answer, or something to the power of 2 gives me 81. Now if I look at my powers sheets and the answers that I got a moment ago, I can see that 9 to the power of 2, or 9 squared, is equal to 81, and therefore my answer is 9. In my second example, it's asking me to work out the cube root of 125. This means that something to the power of 3 gives me an answer of 125. Again, looking at my answers from the previous section, I can see that 5 to the power of 3, or 5 cubed, gives me an answer of 125. Therefore, my answer is 5. In part C, I'm asked to calculate the 6th root of 64. So that means something to the power of 6 gives me an answer of 64. Again, using my power calculation answers to help, I can see that 2 to the power of 6 is 64, and therefore my answer is going to be 2. So the last thing that I'd like you to do is complete the right hand side of your sheet, which looks at square roots, cube roots and other roots of numbers. You can use your work from the left hand side of the page to help you get the answers for each of the roots. Once you finish the whole page, make sure you check your answers against the solutions that are posted on Show My Homework, and then take a photo of your work and upload it so I can see how you've got on. It's really important that you keep this bit of work safe. Next week you'll have a lesson on powers and root calculations, and you can use these answers to help you with that work. If you are struggling to complete some of the work from today's lesson, then please do not hesitate to get in touch via comment on Show My Homework. I'll try to make myself as available as possible and get a reply to you as quickly as I can. If the issue requires a little bit more input from myself, I might ask to arrange a time to meet on Teams where I can give you some personalised help with that specific problem.